Hey guys, this is Chosen. I just wanted to bring you a quick video today on a StarCraft 2 Terran build that you can try out if you're a Terran player and you're having some trouble versus Terran versus Protoss. This could be a build that you can try. And real quick, I just want to say before I get into the build, you know, any build that you learn in StarCraft 2, nothing is 100% win rate. You know, there's always a counter. There's always something your opponent can do to win. So, you know, just because you learn a build, it doesn't mean, oh, I'm going to try this and I'm going to win every game. It's just I've had a good percentage win rate with this on ladder. My opponent in this game is a low masters, I believe. You know, I recorded this earlier, the game, and now I'm recording the audio to it. But if I remember correctly, he's a low master. I was a top 8 masters last season, so hopefully I can give you something new to try in Terran vs Protoss. Basically, I'll get into the build now. You're just gonna open up standard gas build, which is, you know, your 10 depot and then your 12 racks as soon as you have 150 minerals. Never stop pumping SCVs, obviously, and then right here you get the 150 minerals on 12 supply at like a minute 40 into the game. And then you're gonna just keep pumping SCVs, and then when you have 13 supply, you're gonna take your gas as soon as you have 75 minerals. So you're basically just opening up a standard gas build. You can wall if you want. I chose not to wall in this game just because it's a far rush distance, and since I'm going early Marauder, early concussive, I'm not really scared of a Zealot getting into my base. I'll just send 2 SCVs to kind of tank the damage, and my 1 or 2 Marauders will be able to easily deal with it. So I'm not really worried about any sort of pressure, and the reason I like this build is when you open gas and you go straight to Tech Lab, the Protoss is going to be scared to play greedy. And I'm always a big fan of any build that throws my opponent off and lets me set the pace of the game. You know, if the Protoss scouts me and they scout no gas, they know they can pretty well do whatever they want. They know they can take their quick nexus. They know they can even possibly get a fast third. But if they come in and they see that Tech Lab, they're worried because they know if they have to deal with Marauders that have concussive, they can't put on their early expansion, or else you can just rush them, put on a bunker, and kill the expansion. So it makes them play a lot less greedy. It makes them play into your hands, kinda, because I'm going to be going for a fast expansion myself. As soon as I have, you see me taking an SCV off of gas there. I don't need 3 SCVs on gas anymore. I will keep 1 or 2, and then right there I'll take off my second one as soon as I have enough for my second Marauder and concussive, which is basically, you know, 100 gas is all I need, and then I can just leave 1 SCV on gas. I want to maximize mineral production so I can get my command center down as soon as possible. And then right when your second Marauder pops, you should have enough for a command center right here at 22 or 23 supply. So there you see me there, starting my command center at 417. So you see I'm still able to expand at a relatively quick rate. You know, I'm not delaying my expansion that much. And those 2 Marauders give me so much map control. There's no unit composition the Protoss can throw at me that's going to be able to overthrow my 2 Marauders. If he throws a Zealot and a Stalker, my 2 Marauders win. If he throws 2 Stalkers, my Marauders win. 2 Zealots with good micro, my Marauders win. There's a Zealot Sentry, Stalker Sentry. There's nothing he can do that beats my 2 Marauders and takes map control from me. I mean, obviously, unless he's doing some crazy cheese, you know, where he's got 2 proxy gateways that he's chronoing, you know, and he just gets way more units than me. In this game, I was risky and I didn't scout his base just because, you know, I have a good feeling with this map versus Protoss that I'm not going to be facing anything too crazy. So I was, you know, as long as I have the tower, I feel pretty safe. And with my 2 Marauders, it's going to be really hard for him to take the tower from me. So now what you're going to be doing after you get your command center down is you're going to be adding on 2 more barracks, and you're going to be going back to 6 SCVs on gas. You're going to take your second gas, and you're going to get those 6 SCVs on gas, and you're going to stay on 2 gas for a while until you get that factory started, and get your attachments before your factory, because in case he does do like a, you know, crazy 2 base, 6 gate, you know, mass sentry push, you're going to need units and a bunker, which I'll be getting soon right here. You want that down, you know, 6 to 6.5 minutes, somewhere in there. If he's doing something crazy, you want to be able to deal with it with mass repair. And like I said, I can see anything coming 30 seconds before it happens because I have that tower. And that's so important to have the towers. I see in lower leagues a lot of people negate the towers, and they're so important to have. They help you out so much and give you so much more comfort and ability to prepare for things that your opponent's going to throw at you. So now, with the 3 barracks, you want to be using 2 for tech labs and 1 for reactors. Versus Protoss, Marauders are king, and you want those that Marauder heavy army for the concussive shells and for the tanking damage and dealing damage to stalkers and sentries and all that. Your Marines are just there for support in case they have zealots in their army, or they happen to throw something air at you. That way you can, at least it's not GG. You can deal with it. If they send some Phoenix your direction out of nowhere or something, you can actually deal with it with your Marines enough to survive. And now I'm just going to be going into heavy macro play. As soon as that factory finishes, you want to get the reactor started, because what you're going to be doing in a general sense is a 3 barracks, 1 starport build. So you're using, and at this point when your starport's building, you want to quit Marauder production. You want to just pump Marines, even though you have a scan at the 8-minute mark is good, just to see what's going on. I saw the robotics bay, so I know he's going the Colossus route. I saw the robotics and the gateways, so I know he's not going to be doing anything crazy like Phoenix, and that enables me to know exactly what's going on. And start my medevac production, my Viking production, and keep going with how I was playing, and I have nothing to fear. So like I said, 3 barracks, and while you're waiting for your starport to finish, you're just pumping Marines, and maybe a Marauder or 2 if you can afford the gas. And the reason is you want to be able to afford those 2 medevacs as soon as possible, and that's going to be 200 gas. So you need that 200 gas in the bank when you swap your starport to your reactor that your factory was building. And as soon as you have those 2 medevacs, you're in control. As Terran, you can push out with those 2 medevacs. As soon as they pop, that's a good time for you to take your 3rd and push out. I'm not a big fan of doing anything that's all in. I usually like to expand behind the timing attacks and things like that. As you see me expanding here at the 950 mark, putting that 3rd down because my 2 medevacs are just going to pop, and that means I have so much power and control. It's going to be really hard for him to engage my army at this point in the game when I was ahead economically pretty much the whole game after throwing him off early game. So I've got the 2 medevacs joining my army right now, and I've got my stim and my concussive and my combat shields. So my army is really strong right now for this time of the game. So I'm just going to keep reinforcing, and I'm just blindly pushing towards his 3rd. I'm gonna make sure that my 3rd is ahead of the Protosses, because I know he doesn't have more than 1 or 2 Colossus right now, and if he's going to be trying to take a fast 3rd, I'm going to go smash it. I'm going to stim quick and smash the 3rd. And as you can see, he's not taking the 3rd, so I'm able to come back to my base, and now I know I'm way ahead. My 3rd is up and his isn't. And when Terran is ahead of Protoss in bases, that means you're in a good spot. So I'm just going to get my upgrades and all those things, make sure I'm staying broke, keep my resources spent, do all the little things properly, and I'll probably be trying to drop her ass here soon. Getting the Ghost Academy down is always a good idea. Keep the upgrades pumping, and basically just playing standard macro right now since I know I'm ahead. This video is kind of designed to show you the opener and the way to get to the spot in the game where you are ahead. And I always suggest planetary in your 3rd, unless it's TvP. And now I saw a Colossus, so now I know my Vikings are good. And usually I'll pump 1 medevac and 1 Viking from my starport. You don't want an army with 12 medevacs and 1 Viking. You want like a good spread of 7 medevacs and 4 or 5 Vikings. You want a nice even count between your medevacs and Vikings. There I scanned him to see his army is out of position. That means I can do 3 medevacs to drop his base. You always want to make a Protoss multitask and drop them and harass them and do all that good stuff. I do see a cannon on both ledges. That could scare me from dropping him. And yeah, I'm gonna turn around. If he's willing to spend 300 minerals to stop a drop, that's a wash. I'm gonna have to let him win that one. I'm not gonna risk losing 2 medevacs and let him smash my army when I drop it and throw the game away. Now I do always suggest getting turrets at your bases, which I'm doing now when it gets kind of towards the late game, because you don't want Dark Templars to be able to fly in and harass you, and you also don't want him to have free reign with observers. Really late game, like 20 minutes into the game, when I'm on 4 base or whatever, I'll put turrets all around the map. And that's just because I don't want him to be able to fly observers around at his will. I want those observers to die. When you kill a Protoss' observer, that's a huge hit to them. It makes them stop the robotics production and build another observer, and then get it on the map where they want it. So it really slows them down on feeling comfortable about the game. At this point, I know he's going to have a 3rd, so I'm going to be a lot safer when I come to this point in the field, And yeah, there I see it. Now I should be way ahead. So as long as I don't do anything stupid, I should win this battle. Microing away from those Zealots. And then you have to really micro away from Storms if you see it. I did a decent job there versus Storm. And yeah, you see I'm just so far ahead of him because of that early game where I opened up and made him stay on one base where I was able to take my quick second. And I already have my third saturated, whereas he was just now taking his third. And yeah, there's the GG. So hopefully you guys enjoyed that, and that's something you can add to your repertoire in Terran vs. Protoss. So GG and GLHF.